Okay, everybody, welcome. Uh, Welcome to grade 11 at KC High, and welcome to your English language and literature course. I'm just going to guide you through a few things about the expectations. You will have a regular English teacher before we begin the school year in July 16th, but because of the situation with the COVID pandemic and being in lockdown or semi-lockdown at this time, I have volunteered to step in for the next few weeks to get you started on English language and literature, grade 11, KC, IB, both standard level and higher level. So the purpose of this presentation is just to introduce you to the course and the classroom and to give you the opportunity to get a head start if you want to start reading and if you want to know a little bit about the road ahead. So here we are. This is about 24 students, and eventually this class will be split into higher level and standard level. But for the first few weeks while we're doing this online learning, we'll have you all together in one class because there are some texts, that's T-E-X-T-S, that is a word that I will use a lot. There are some texts that are common to both standard level and higher level. The standard level students will need to read at least 4 literary texts, and the higher level students will need to read at least 6 literary texts. So there will be at least one text common to both groups, and that is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, and we'll get started by studying that text together. But eventually we will be split into a standard level class and a higher level class. I believe that about 2/3 of you have chosen standard level and about 1/3 of you have chosen higher level. Those classes will be split sometime in July. So the first thing to know is that we do have a Google Classroom, and the code is there, and that is the lowercase letter L, so LZDECOH, those are all lowercase letters, is the Google Classroom, and you will find that there is a lot of information there, and there are many resources to help you. So as I've said already, the very first thing we will be doing is we will be reading the book Things Fall Apart, which is a very important and widely read novel from Africa, published in 1958. More specifically, its author, Chinua Achebe, who passed away a few years back, was a Nigerian, or you might say an Igbo, and that the Igbo are a people of southeastern Nigeria, and Chinua Achebe came from that people. And this is one of the most important books in the history of African literature for sure, and I would say in the history of 20th century literature and in the history of post-colonial literature, but those are terms that we might look into as we study the book. It's not a difficult book, it's not really a simple book, it doesn't take long to read. I hope you'll find it interesting. There will certainly be parts of it that are unfamiliar to you, but that's one of the reasons that we read literature. It will take you to a time and a place, namely about 130 years ago in southeastern Nigeria, in Igbo land, at the time when the European colonialists were arriving in substantial numbers in that part of Africa. And it does sort of describe the way of life of Igbos or Africans before the Europeans arrived and then the conflicts that arose when the Europeans arrived. So it's partly, but not wholly, a work about colonialism and the arrival of Europeans in Africa. But there are many, many other aspects to the book, many themes to the book, all of which we will explore. It's an interesting book, and I certainly hope that you like it. So your expectation for the next few weeks is, first of all, read the book. I will show you where to get that in a second. I would expect you by Friday the 22nd of May to have read the first 7 chapters. So in addition to that, of course, I will expect you to attend the online lessons on, I believe it's Tuesday and Friday at 4 p.m., but you can check your timetable and your calendar for that. Not 4 p.m., Tuesday and Friday afternoons, I believe, maybe 1 p.m. And of course, you should do the little weekly assignments that we give you, and you should take notes as you're reading the book, and you must also write into your learner's journal, which will be something that you keep online as a Google Doc. And in it, you write what you are learning, what you are experiencing, the questions you have, the struggles you have to understand, etc. So then I've put this in twice. Read Things Fall Apart closely. You should read the book, but you must also read it closely. I'll give you a few tips and hints about what it means to read a book closely, but you should do things like look up words that you don't understand, take down notes about questions that you have, and reread sentences or phrases that are awkward or vague, and really try hard to understand the book, understand the author's intentions of the book, and understand the dynamics between the characters, the plot, the structure, etc. You should also draw a character map. You can easily find one online. If you don't know how to do that, we'll guide you about how to do that. So then there are also some videos that I've asked you to watch. 2 of them are quite simple, 15 minutes or so crash course with John Green. John Green is an award-winning author. He writes books for young adults. So he's made 2 videos where he's talked about Things Fall Apart. And then there's some excellent videos and classroom resources from Annenberg Learner, a group out of Massachusetts. And there are 6 sections to their classroom resources, and I expect you to watch those. And then you will create a group presentation. It will be 12 to 15 minutes, where you, in a group of 3 or 4 students, will explore the context of Things Fall Apart. The context means things that come with the text, such as where is the author from, where is the setting, how is the book received, who has read the book, what have people said about the book, what is the book trying to explain, etc. And then finally, and most importantly, you will write one essay of 500 to 700 words, and it will answer either one of these 2 questions, and I will post those questions for you to explore. So I don't want to go on for too long today. I'll just quickly say what your grade for the first 4 weeks or so will be. You will have 10 marks allotted to attendance, class participation, small tasks, etc. 20 marks on your online learning journal that I've discussed already, 30 marks on the group presentation, and 40 marks on your essay, which will be due on June 14th. We will give you some hints about how to write that essay. Lastly, let's just have a look at the classroom. Here is the Google Classroom. I'll put the code up again. As I said already, that first symbol is the lowercase letter L. I'm not sure why Google uses a symbol that can easily be confused with the capital I or even the number 1 or just a vertical bar, but that's the lowercase L, LZDECOH, all lowercase letters. So please do join that group as soon as you can. Once you do, you will see, for example, that there's been some classwork posted already. There are some, if I go to the stream, you'll see that there are some textbooks there. And then if you click on Things Fall Apart, you will see that there is both a PDF And I would expect you to get an EPUB reader and to be able to read the book from the EPUB reader. It's not hard to do. You just download it. And then if you have an EPUB reader such as Calibre or Caliber, you can, I'll just put it on the desktop for now. Download it and then open it up. And one thing you'll notice is that when books are in EPUB forms, or an EPUB file type I should say, they are much easier to read than as a PDF. So let me find it again. Things Fall Apart. It will be here somewhere. There it is. And here's the book. Let me start by reading the first line to you. So I will go to the table of contents, chapter 1, or maybe I should just read the preface. And there it is. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. So that's from the famous poet William Butler Yeats, The Second Coming, a famous poem. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the course. I look forward to seeing you all next week online, and have a great day wherever you are or wherever you're watching this from.